Welcome to Andi and Mich.
The podcast where two sisters spill the tea on life from two totally different generational perspectives.
I'm Andi, the Gen X sis, seasoned, open-minded, and powered by strong coffee and even stronger opinions.
And I'm Mich, the Millennial sis, curious, chaotic, and still trying to figure out if my life choices are written in the stars or just random decisions. Together we dive into everything from deep life lessons to pop culture, embarrassing stories, and the occasional existential crisis.
Expect laughter, a little chisme, and maybe even a surprise ghost story straight from the family archives. So grab your cafecito
and your emotional support snack,
and let's dive in. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Andi and Mich. On today's podcast, we're talking pet peeves and unpopular opinions, the kind that make you go, wait, am I the only one who feels this way?
Whether you're someone who can't stand loud chewers or you secretly think brunch is overrated, this episode is for you.
So get comfy, grab a snack and your favorite cafecito, and let's dive in. So today we're getting into everyday pet peeves and unpopular opinions. I feel very seen with this topic and also attacked all at the same time.
Nice.
But we should start with defining pet peeve, because I know culturally that's not a term that everybody might know.
Absolutely. So a pet peeve is something that annoys or irritates you, often in a way that might seem minor to others, but it's particularly bothersome to you. Scientifically, there's been polls and studies done, and 90% of people have expressed that they experience really intricate and funny pet peeves, and they are a reflection of your personal value system.
And it's more popular than you think. I do think you have to build your self-awareness around your pet peeves. It's all love here. We do not welcome or encourage using pet peeves as a form of spreading hate. And that's not what we're getting into today. But you do need to know, you need to understand where they're coming from and why they exist. And sometimes if you're having a really crappy day, you might notice that you're just more easily annoyed.
Yeah.
And now that day you have 50 different pet peeves that a different day you don't have.
You'll fixate on the things that annoy you the most.
Yeah. But it's also an interesting tool to connect people, because I actually use conversations around pet peeves as an icebreaker for some of the work that I do. And I find it to be really effective. One, it requires you to be a little vulnerable, because a lot of times some of our dislikes we might be a little bit embarrassed about, or maybe feel a little shame around and not sure if other people agree, even though it's a very real experience to us.
Yeah.
So it allows people to be vulnerable, and then it helps people let their guard down and kind of have a little fun with it and not take life so seriously. And with all of that, they start to connect, because it's like, oh my God, I'm not the only one who can't stand pants that are hanging around someone's knees.
Oh my gosh.
Or I'm not the only one who, fill in the blank. You feel seen and heard in that. And it creates a connection between people very quickly.
As long as they're in good comedy and not a way to express stereotypes.
What is one of your top everyday pet peeves?
Oh, one of my top everyday pet peeves is when somebody's holding their phone and then they look at me and they say, hey, what's the meaning of this word? Sometimes they're just looking at the phone too. So it's like you're actually typing something. Why don't you just ask the question to your phone?
Just Google it.
It makes my body cringe.
One of mine is when people leave their shoes in the middle of a walkway or in the middle of a room. I cannot tell you how many near-death experiences I have had. Almost dying, tripping over somebody's shoes.
Real thing.
So if you're listening to us and you can relate, comment on this episode with your pet peeves. We want to know. We looked up some of the most common pet peeves, and we thought we'd play a little fun game with it called Hot Take or Cold Flop. So we're going to read you some of these opinions, and we're going to rate how unpopular they actually are. Is it a hot take? Yes, totally agree. Or is it a cold flop? Brunch is a hot pet peeve topic. Is brunch just overpriced breakfast with worse service?
Yes. Hot take.
Hot take. Also, brunch takes freaking forever.
It does.
And I've already delayed breakfast to eat brunch, and now I have to stand in line with a bunch of strangers.
It's overpriced. There's too many people. You can't even have conversations. It sounds like you're in a club. I'm not a fan. I've had to go to a few brunches in my lifetime, and each time I've asked myself, Why are we doing this?
And how did it get so popular? Social media? Or I think it also party culture. I think at a point in your life too, brunch was just a necessity because you were out all night and
Well,
then you didn't get up early to eat breakfast. So now guess what? It's brunch.
just a bunch of drunk people going to brunch to have breakfast and more
But
mimosas
somewhere along the line, it just got branded
as
as
brunch.
this very specific kind of experience that everyone wants to have for no reason.
And I'm still waiting on a restaurant called Brenner because let's be real, breakfast for dinner
It's
is
the
way
best.
better than breakfast for lunch. And if you make it, please invite me because I want free Brenner.
I want to co sign on that because that's a hot take. We are in a world of technology built around technology. So, hot take or cold flop, we should bring back voicemails and actually listen to them,
We did bring them back. Voice memos.
which is a shorter version of a voicemail.
It's a rebrand.
So, hot take, cold
Hot
flop.
take. I love it. Voice memos from your inside circle are acceptable, wonderful. It's like subscribing to a mini podcast of your best friends' lives. You don't have to answer the phone. You don't got to do a FaceTime. You could be out doing what you got to do. And when you have a sweet moment, you can catch up on all the good nitty gritty of their lives. So, yeah, I think it's a
Okay.
hot take. Okay, I got one. People who say, I'm just being honest, are usually just being rude. Hot take or cold
Ooh,
flop?
that's a cringe one because as a pet peeve, I would say, yeah, hot take. It's definitely a pet peeve. I often have found in my many decades of living when people say, I'm just being honest,
Uh-huh.
it's an excuse to be rude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They're trying to
yeah.
sell me something when in actuality, you know that you're about to say something that could be hurtful, offensive, rude, disrespectful, but you're trying to lighten it by saying, well, I'm just being honest.
Yeah, maybe. I could see that. I also think that it just depends on where you're from. Because in California, I hear that all the time, and it's not always the lead up to something offensive. Sometimes it's like they're admitting something to you.
Or it could be something that you feel uncomfortable saying. If I just use this terminology, well, I'm just being honest, that somehow it will soften the blow.
I've heard that often. And I think that when someone says, I'm just being honest, they're about to lie to you.
Yeah. No, like you're like, it's about to go down. There's a chance we're not going to be friends anymore after this conversation. So you have to like mentally prepare yourself for that.
Not every wedding needs a hashtag or a photo booth.
I
Cold
think that's a
flop.
cold flop.
Yeah, cold flop. I don't know about the hashtags, but I love a good photo booth.
And now they have the cool ones that like the 360 photo booths.
Be real, it's your wedding. You're investing a ton of money into an event that you're trying to celebrate, and you're bringing all your friends and family that you can tolerate to that location and that
Yeah.
can celebrate with you. Invest in a photo booth, or if you can't afford a photo booth, you put those little disposable cameras on people's tables and
Yeah.
just like have a good time with it. I think
Yeah.
that's
I
really
think if
wonderful.
you're saying this about weddings, you're being a hater.
And this is a person
Wedding,
that doesn't want to have a wedding.
yeah, and a person who also doesn't believe in marriage, but
Yeah.
that's for another episode. But I do think weddings are a celebration, like a
Yeah.
birthday party or an anniversary party. We're all coming together to celebrate somebody that we know and care about, and we want to create memories. This is a one of the ways that I think technology does good in that you can use this hashtag and link, and then you can see everybody's photos that they're posting, and it creates a bigger, more intricate story about this event. So I don't know. This one, mixed feelings. Concerts are overrated. Too loud, too crowded, and too many phones.
Cold flop.
I don't know. I'm on the fence. Okay, here, let me tell you why I'm on the fence. Concerts used to be $50.
Okay.
And you can go and have a good time, and people were there for the vibes and just really into the music. Now, concerts are $1,500.
No, they're not.
Dude, dude.
Disneyland is more expensive than a concert.
No way.
Yes, it is.
I've been looking at concert tickets for different things, and the minimum for like bad seats in the back for a really great concert, it's been like $500-$600. A
No.
ticket.
No,
A freaking
no.
ticket.
That depends on who you're seeing.
And it's become a photo op for everyone. They're recording the whole show, they're taking selfies and pictures. It does, and this is my opinion, it takes away from the vibe of a real concert. Like, one of the things I love about going to concerts is just being in community with people and just vibing on the music and just being present with it and loving it. Because I've seen people perform that I never heard their albums before. And then you're like, holy crap, this is amazing. And you just get so into it, right? There's some magic in that. And I do think technology and stuff now takes away from it.
Festivals, for me, kind of fall on that line. There's too many people, it's too crowded, it's too loud, there's too much going on. It can be really distracting and hard to connect with what's going on. I do like intimate concerts in smaller venues, oftentimes just better situations in general. It's easier to get into the vibe. I'm not bothered by people taking pictures at concerts. I think it's really sweet that they're trying to document a moment in their life that they're really having a good time. I am bothered when people are recording and like they're like right over your face or right in front of you
Mhm.
and you can't see the concert anymore and all you can see is their
Is their
phone.
phone.
Yeah, that can be annoying. One of my favorite concerts that I ever saw was by Interpol, a band. I think you could still have a good time, but it just depends on how invested you are in the artist.
No, cold flop for me. Jeans are not comfortable, and everyone's just been lying about it.
Cold flop.
Cold flop. As a jeans girl,
But I will say, you gotta learn what brands work for your body.
and what cuts and styles.
Yeah, because if you're going around trying to fit into jeans that don't feel comfortable, then that's just a poor choice.
Children should not be allowed to watch iPads at full volume in restaurants.
Hot take. What is going on out there? I want to share an experience that I
Okay.
had that changed my life forever.
Okay.
I had to go to urgent care. I had to see the doctor because I wasn't feeling very well. And the kid next to me had his iPad out with his volume on full blast as he watched ASMR
Oh
of people's mouths.
my God.
And I remember thinking, is this hell? Did I die?
While you're sick and feeling
Well,
like
I'm
crap.
sick, feeling horrible. And this kid is just having time of his life and no one's telling him anything. Eventually, I got up, pretended I needed to sneeze, and I moved to a different seat. It was traumatizing for me.
I mean, this is my opinion. If you can afford an iPad, you can afford earbuds, a headset, all the things to be respectful to your neighbors in public
Yes.
spaces. Like, we're not on a journey together. Like, keep it to yourself.
It's not the child's responsibility. It is the parents'
It's the parents.
responsibility.
Listen, moms and dads, it's our job. So if we're making people uncomfortable, we're not paying attention.
So the next one would be we don't need any more true crime podcast.
Full disclosure, I don't listen to true crime podcasts, so I don't really have an opinion.
Okay. Cold flop. Because they're very informative. You can learn how to survive any given scenario. You can learn the what to do's and what not to do's.
Not obsessed with true crime like you and all your millennial friends.
Yeah, well, we're not obsessed, but we're just note takers. Okay? You got to be informed. That's all I'm going to say.
Listeners, cold flop or hot take, millennials are obsessed with true crime.
We're just going to plead the fifth on that.
What about this one? Gen Z didn't invent low-rise jeans. They're just re-triggering our trauma.
Who invented them, though? Low-rise jeans.
I don't know. I think they're from the 90s.
The millennials, of course.
So apparently there are a lot of people who were offended by low-rise jeans making a comeback.
How low did they go?
They go low. Some of them went so low. And
Oh my
as
God.
Latinas with curvy bottoms, you can't wear that. You're giving
Showing.
people a show that they just didn't ask for. I don't think they need to exist anymore. I think they should just stay in a museum where they belong.
Personally, I'm not a low-rise jeans person, and I didn't even know Gen Z brought them back.
Way to be on trend. LOL.
Lots of laughs.
Crocs, the shoes, the Crocs, only get a pass if you're a child, a chef, or a gardener.
Comfort is not secondary to fashion, but in this case it is. You should not be wearing Crocs unless you are a child, a chef, or a gardener. You guys didn't see that coming, did you?
So it's a hot take for you.
It is a hot take. Medical professionals who are on their feet 24/7, you're allowed to wear them. You're saving lives. High five to you.
Do you own a pair of Crocs?
No, I don't, but I judge every person that I see with them on.
People are really into like the colorful Crocs, the little things that you can snap on them. It's like a big deal. And I learned all about it when I had to buy Crocs for my broken, injured foot. They're a good crisis shoe.
They're a good crisis shoe. It's called an identity crisis.
Mitch is hating so much right now. Listen, they're not the most attractive looking shoe, but you can have fun with it. And if you want lime green Crocs or hot pink rainbow Crocs, knock yourself out.
People who clap when planes land are unhinged.
Yeah. Do you think it's a hot take or a flop? I lean more toward hot take, but I'm not like fully in it to win it, you know? I am confused by people clapping in spaces when you don't have you're not an audience. Who are you clapping for?
I'm giving it a pass for the year of 2025. So prior to
Because of the trauma?
2025, it was unacceptable to clap when a plane landed.
I think that goes beyond pet peeve and it's more into traumatic response.
If you have to clap when a plane lands, your ticket shouldn't be $350.
It's crazy.
Okay, Apple products are overrated. There, I said it. Hot take or big old flop?
I don't know. That's a cold flop for me. As much as I never wanted to be an Apple person, I did become one. And it is more about convenience than anything else. It's easier, it's intuitive to me. And it just gives me the basic, straightforward format that I need in life. So I really dig it for that reason. I do think it's overpriced. I will say that.
Apple marketing did it right. They made
Hell
people
yeah, they
feel like it was like an inclusive club.
Well, they made it like their whole thing is like luxury technology for the everyday person.
I've used Apple when I used to have to edit with that company that shall not be named, where I used to edit magazines. That was our primary operating system that we used in the office. And it was easy to use editing software like Adobe. That was really cool. And I did enjoy that. But since then, with gaming, editing, and doing music, I actually prefer PC. Phones, though, I think Apple fell behind. Particularly the cameras are overrated.
I mean, I don't even know how to use all the functions in my iPhone. I said, "Oh my gosh, is this a new feature?" They was like, "No, it's been around since 2008."
Okay, that's just personal choice.
But also, what's with the super secret menus?
They have super secret commands. And then every time they launch a new product, all of a sudden, your perfect camera that worked really well is really horrible. Your phones are overrated. Your laptops are great.
I'm a fan. This is Andi. So, Apple, if you want to hit me up, let's do something together.
And for the record, I'm Mitch and I do have an iPhone.
No, Mitch is out.
Okay, here's the next one. Iced coffee is better than burning hot coffee.
Yeah. I think it's a hot take for me, but I know people that we are directly related to, and I have friends who think iced coffee is an abomination.
I love a good iced coffee.
I like it all. Listen, I just love coffee. I think that's also a pet peeve of mine when people are like, I love coffee. And they're like, coffee just tastes like rose petals, honey, and amethyst crystals. And it's like, no, that is not coffee. No, when you get too far away from the coffee actually tasting like coffee, that does bother me. A nice hot cup of coffee on a cold winter rainy day is like so soothing.
I still drink iced coffee when it's snowing. I think I'm a polar bear.
Yeah, you are.
So last one, work from home forever. Offices were a social experiment gone wrong.
I say hot take, and I say it loosely because I want to be able to take it back later. I love working from home. I think it's genius. I think it gives people back autonomy. It gives work-life balance. But I do see the benefit of having it be a little more leaning into the hybrid part of having opportunities for people to come together, because one of the things that has happened in a lot of instances is that people start to feel really lonely in their work because there's not opportunity for natural connection. As much as we have made advances with video technology and teleconferencing, it's still not organic, like where you can sit side by side and connect. There's something really important that you don't get when you work from home 100% of the time. I want to work from home and maybe connect with people twice a month.
You're like, so what I'm getting at is that we should have mixers. We should have office mixers at designated locations. And it doesn't have to be the same location. We could change it up. I love working from home. Working during COVID, I worked from home and I really enjoyed it. I felt like I was the most efficient I've ever been in my life. There is something to the dynamic of working in an office that you enjoy. It's like you're saying, and being able to sit with other people in spaces that are not your home.
You out of your house, if nothing else.
I could see that. But work from home forever. That's for me.
I'm surprised that these are all in the top of common pet peeves, because some of them just feel like more opinion based than pet peeve based. And I'm a little disappointed that there wasn't some more juicy stuff in there.
Well, I have some weird ones. Can I add some in there?
Yeah. Yay or nay? Go.
The sound of sniffling instead of blowing your nose. Yeah. I don't like that. People who can't whisper. Yeah, I don't like that either. Why are you yelling at me?
I think it depends on context. Like, where is this happening? Because if it's in a place where you're supposed to be quiet, like a movie theater, then that's a pet peeve.
Yeah.
It's like, sir, I don't need to hear your conversation right now. Take it outside.
Cracking your knuckles or other joints.
Ooh, yeah. That one bugs me because it gives me that like chalkboard nails on a chalkboard feeling.
Excessive use of LOL. I'm guilty of this. When we use excessive LOL, and we're talking about laugh out loud, LOL, not lots of love or whatever, we're checked out. We're not listening to you anymore. LOL is the common, it is what it is. I said what I said.
Yeah, it's lost its meaning.
It really has. Okay. The next one is when someone can't decide on a restaurant to eat at.
Yeah, that is annoying.
It is annoying. I'm also the person that does it.
This is a call out for all you people pleasers who like whatever you want. No, whatever you want. No, whatever you want. No, whatever you want. That makes me want to scream into a black hole. Just tell me what you want so we can talk about if our thoughts are aligning or not.
Yeah, but also, what do you want though? People who use the wrong your
In writing, it doesn't really bother me as much as it makes me sad. Also, people who can't read cursive or write cursive.
That's a generational thing. The new generation doesn't know how to write cursive.
Yeah, but I do. You give me and you're like, I don't know what this says. And then that becomes a generational pet peeve, which is a great segue into thinking about pet peeves and generational differences because this comes up a lot. Like, we get annoyed by each other's generations in texting, dating, work, fashion, you name it. There's pet peeves that exist because of these generational gaps. So, what are some of those?
When Gen Z hates phone calls,
Yeah.
they hate them. It's weird because I love a voice memo because it gives me the convenience of answering when I want. And a phone call demands my attention at the moment. And so that's where like the disconnect happens for me. So I can take a phone call. It's inconvenient sometimes. Sometimes I enjoy it. But what I absolutely cannot stand is FaceTime.
I hate FaceTime. I like to do it to people to annoy them, but it's only if I know you really well and we kind of have that rapport that I can FaceTime you to annoy you for funsies. I have no desire to FaceTime with other people.
It's very weird to me, this obsession with needing to look at each other unless your partner or your friend is traveling and you haven't seen them for a while. FaceTime all you want. That makes perfect sense. But if I just saw you Wednesday and it's Friday and you need to FaceTime me, something's seriously wrong.
That's also an introvert versus extrovert thing.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Because as introverts, we need to prepare ourselves for in-person interactions. But extroverts, they're just real excited about whatever they're calling you for. I do think Gen Z has rebranded hating on phone calls, but that's existed for a while with definitely your generation.
Yeah. They like to claim a lot of millennial things as their own. And they're like, millennials are the problem. And it's like, bro.
I had a person tell me who is, I think they're a Gen Z, that if someone just calls them out of nowhere, that's like a personal attack, that they feel offended by it. So my generation is you call somebody and you know, and they know the person receiving the phone call holds the power. You can decide whether I'm going to let you into my space right now and give you some of my time, or actually, I don't have the capacity for that right now. So you're going to go to voicemail and then I will address it later. But we had that equal understanding then, right? As Gen Xers, elder millennials too, is like, you knew this was the proper way to communicate via phone calls and voicemail. So you didn't get offended by it. You only got offended if they never called you back.
I don't care too much if it takes a while. I think I like voicemails. I like that you can leave like a little bit of your personality. You're like, leave me a message. Like, I think that's fun.
So now you're changing your stance.
I'm a dinosaur. No, I still hate phone calls.
So that's a hot take for you. A generational hot take.
Phone calls are only great when I have not seen you for a week. You travel a lot or I travel a lot. Or there's an emergency. And I'm talking about house on fire, someone died, someone's dying, emergency.
You want to know what a pet peeve is for me as a generational one? That when you text me 10 times in a row and then I decide, you know what, I'm just going to call her. I know she has her phone in her hand because she just texted me 10 times in a row. And then she sends me to freaking voicemail. WTF. That is a real generational pet peeve right there.
We're just going to take a break to speak with our sponsors.
Now I'm leaving an angry voicemail for my sister saying, I know you have your phone in your hand right now.
You know what's funny?
You better call me back.
I saved those voicemails just in case anything tragic ever happens.
So then you have a memory of me.
I have memories.
Boom. Okay, generational differences around personal space. I think there's also cultural differences around this, but I do notice that a lot of elderly people like to talk to you really close up to your face. I don't know why, but I'm like, I need you to take 4 steps back and speak to me from there. But I also notice that young people, really, really young people, do the same thing. They stand behind you in line, and I can feel your breath on my neck. Bruh, you're too close. It's because they're on their phones and they're right up on you in a line, like when you're waiting in line for something.
I don't care what generation you're from. If I can touch you, you're too close.
This is how you define personal space is you reach your arms out and you draw a circle around yourself. What about moms and tias, grandmas, abuelas,
Uncles and dads.
learning how to text only using 10 million emojis?
I think it's so cute. I love it so much. Good for them. Learning how to express their emotions in real time.
Like legit. Sometimes our mother will text me during a work day. I'm at work. She'll text me 20 texts in a row with a bunch of emojis, random words I don't understand. And then she'll be like, how come you don't respond?
Yeah.
And I'm like, first of all, I'm trying to put together your hieroglyphic message that you sent me.
Deciphering.
And I don't have a key. I don't know what you mean by this. I don't know what the chicken and the firefly and the star. Oh my God.
But for the record, I personally think it's really adorable. I'm a fan. So this is a great example of generational differences because Andi hates it and I'm over here just tickle pink.
I'm like, don't bother me. I really think it's hilarious when you think about texting. This story that was like all over social media a year or two ago, that the mom was texting all the family members that a relative had passed away, and she was ending it with LOL. She thought LOL meant lots of love. So she was telling people, so and so has passed away, LOL. And they were reading laugh out loud.
Yeah.
Which is so hilarious and too funny.
I love it.
But such a generational difference.
I also would just like find it hilarious if the mom actually said laugh out loud. But that's me and I have weird humor. She's like, this person died, laughs out loud. Crazy, right? Who would have thunk? Not me.
Not me. What do you think your generation gets right or really wrong? This is a question to you, our listeners. You can leave us a comment. What does your generation get right or wrong when it comes to these generational pet peeves? There are levels of pet peeve. There's like, oh, that's really annoying, and you just kind of move on. There's the, it's going to stop you in your tracks. And then there's the ones that are just so petty and outrageous that they make no sense to anybody but you. What is one of those pet peeves that's so irrational? Okay. So I'm going to share one. Wraps. Not music wraps. The food wrap.
Lettuce wraps.
No, not even lettuce wraps. Wraps that where they use a cold tortilla. No, cold tortillas in a wrap. That is blasphemous. It is the most disgusting thing. Those pinwheel sandwiches that people bring to events. If someone offers me a wrap, I'm like, why are you even talking to me right now? I don't even know how we're friends. It's irrational. It doesn't make any sense.
But you hate it.
But I hate it.
Maybe in a past life, somebody threw a wrap at you.
It's so dumb, but it's real. Let me ask you this. Are pet peeves really necessary? How do they help us?
They serve different purposes for different people, and it depends on the type of pet peeve that we're talking about. So sometimes they can be tools for identifying areas where you could set better boundaries. Recognizing what annoys you can be an opportunity to reflect on your behaviors that you cherish or the things that you value. And then oftentimes they're just coping mechanisms for underlying stress and frustration.
Yeah. So what is one of your irrational pet peeves?
Okay. So we just discovered this one together. We went to go get coffee at this really cool coffee shop, and there was a person who was parked in their car but did not reverse for like 5 minutes. So I was just sitting there for 5 minutes. And this is only essentially when the parking lot is full and there's no other parking spots. They like cause a traffic jam behind me. It is an irritating pet peeve of mine, and I do get pretty mad. That's an easy way to hear me cuss in person.
It's the worst when they see you and they know people are waiting, And then they just sit in their car and play on their phone.
Yeah, and they don't wave or nothing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and scroll on Instagram for 45 minutes
Yes.
with my reverse lights on. That's even worse.
That's the part that, like, really pissed me off. It's like, don't turn on your freaking lights if you're not going anywhere. I get, like, you could turn on your engine or whatever. Maybe older cars don't have the option, but I don't know. Drives me nuts every single time.
Okay, so if you're still with us after all that, congrats. You've officially passed the petty test.
And honestly, we feel closer to you now. Nothing bonds people quite like shared irrational rage.
We hope you laughed, maybe got a little fired up, and hopefully didn't feel personally attacked by any of our spicy takes.
And remember, we want to hear from you. What's your most outrageous yet totally accurate, unpopular opinion? DM us or send a voice note, and we might just share it on a future episode.
That's it for this week's Rantfest. Thanks for hanging out with us on Andi and Mitch. We hope you had as much fun listening as we did venting.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the chaos with your friends. It's free therapy, kind of.
Until next time, keep those hot takes coming.
Bye, guys.
Bye.